Welcome to this new automotive news video for Friday, April 24, 2026. Today we're going to talk about the two biggest European car groups, Volkswagen and Stellantis. By coincidence, these two European automotive giants announced several measures yesterday that show things are really not going well for European brands. They're preparing to sell factories to Chinese brands, while also planning more closures and layoffs. This is a real issue, and we'll discuss it in detail. Today, this will be the main topic of the video, but after that, I also have some good news to share with you. Porsche has just announced a new Coupe version of its Porsche Cayenne, but also because Volkswagen has just announced the arrival of several new powertrains for two of its most popular models. These are the topics for April 24, 2026, and I hope you'll find this video interesting. If that's the case, as usual, I count on you to show your support by leaving a like, subscribing for future videos, boosting this one if the option appears for you, and of course, leaving a comment to share your thoughts on today's news. Before all that, I'll add an anecdote for you. It just came in. I saw it while editing this video, and it also concerns Volkswagen, so I'll tell you about it. Volkswagen has just sold absolutely all of its shares in Bugatti Rimac. So, well, even though clearly not all of us drive a Bugatti, it's still quite a significant move. Bugatti no longer belongs to Volkswagen. Volkswagen has no remaining stake in Bugatti. Well, the situation is quite complicated at Volkswagen and Stellantis alike. It's not really a surprise for those who follow automotive news. These last 2 years, we know we've entered a sort of downsizing phase. We're probably going to see the disappearance of some European brands, but also an overall downsizing of the entire European automotive industry. And unfortunately, that's the direction of the latest statements from the CEOs of Volkswagen and Stellantis. Yesterday, the head of Volkswagen, Oliver Blume, said that it was very, very unlikely that European brands, at least the brands of the Volkswagen Group, would manage to bounce back and to return to results similar to those we had before the COVID crisis. Specifically, until 2019, Volkswagen managed to sell about 12 million units per year. And since that difficult period, the group's car sales have never managed to get back to that level, reaching only 9 million units in 2025. Oliver Blume announced that these 9 million units would become the new standard for Volkswagen, the new target to reach, the new annual goal, and that new adjustments in production. So what that means is factory closures, production lines that will be cut. Also, measures would be put in place in the coming months and years simply to adapt to this lower demand. Just as a reminder, in recent months and years, Volkswagen has already significantly reduced its infrastructure in Europe. Not only in Europe, though, it's not just affecting Europe. For example, Volkswagen has already reduced its production capacity by about 1 million units in China, one of the markets where it has lost the most ground. But it has also closed the Audi plant in Brussels, shut down the German plant in Dresden, and transformed the Osnabrück plant, which will no longer produce cars after the end of 2026. Normally starting in 2027, this site will instead produce military equipment. That 50,000 jobs in Germany would be cut by 2030, but that won't be enough. Volkswagen warns that there will probably be more adjustments. This will probably affect certain factories in particular, especially the factories in Emden and Zwickau, which are Volkswagen's factories specialized in the production of electric cars. They are operating far below their maximum capacity and are therefore not profitable. In Zwickau, in the long term, there is talk of producing only one electric model, whereas 5 were supposed to be assembled. If we look at the plans that were originally intended, it's not possible to keep going in the long term. With the factory running at only 20% of its capacity, it probably means that either it will close and its production line will be moved to another plant in the group, or that other factories will be relocated to the Zwickau plant. Is that to try to make this site profitable? Now, Oliver Blume explains that the Volkswagen Group no longer rules out selling one of its sites, meaning one of its car factories, to a Chinese manufacturer who would like to produce in Europe to bypass European tariffs. Also, it may seem a bit paradoxical since, as I was telling you, Volkswagen has taken a big hit in the Chinese market and has significantly reduced its production capacity. Yet it has just unveiled an entire range of electric vehicles there that will only be sold on the Asian market. Electric vehicles sometimes sold for less than 20,000 euros, which, unfortunately, we in Europe are likely to miss out on. And that's a real shame, because that's exactly what we need here to revitalize the market. So, to sum up the situation at Volkswagen, we now realize that the market will never return to the level it was at in 2019. To adjust to lower demand, more factories and production lines will close, with some sold to Chinese brands. Now the group aims to sell fewer cars, but at higher prices, since it is now aiming for an 8 to 10% margin, which is 3 to 4 times higher than what it had in 2025, with a 2.8% margin. As I mentioned, this isn't isolated, it's also happening at Stellantis. At Stellantis in Europe, we are facing a situation that may be even harder to bear. In Europe, the Stellantis group owns 24 car manufacturing plants, but 14 of these 24 plants, more than half, are operating below 50% capacity. This means they produce only half as many cars as they could if the plant ran at full capacity. Let me give you a figure that might illustrate this situation even better. In Europe, Stellantis has an annual production capacity of 6.5 million cars, but actually only produces 3.5 million. And that's just like with Volkswagen, it's a situation that can't last. We can't afford to maintain so many facilities that cost money and in which we simply don't produce enough to make them profitable. That's one of the reasons why a few days ago, the group announced that the Poissy plant will stop producing cars from 2028 and will be converted into a parts factory or a reconditioning plant to prepare cars for the used market. And that's exactly why Stellantis, as we've just learned through the media, Bloomberg has selected 4 of its European factories to either be sold to Chinese brands or shared with companies like Dongfeng, with whom Stellantis is trying to establish a new partnership in China to be able to sell its European cars there. So in either case, whether it's at Stellantis or Volkswagen, they've acknowledged that the situation isn't going to improve, at least not in the short or medium term, and they've decided to make it easier for Chinese brands to enter. It's paradoxical, but that's how it is. So then, as I was saying, it's not all bad news today. There is also some good news from the Volkswagen Group. Well, if not good news, at least it's less bad. Porsche has announced a new version of its electric Cayenne, the Coupe version, which stands out from the traditional Cayennes with a roofline that's a bit more sloped at the back, inspired by the 911. So that's already for the design, but it's also for aerodynamic reasons, because with this more sloped roof, the vehicle's aerodynamic drag is lower and therefore the range is greater. Obviously, it will be based on the same 800-volt platform as the traditional Cayenne, but also on the same battery, the 113 kWh battery, but it offers a slightly higher range. We're talking about extra kilometers here, with 687 km for the base model compared to 669 for the traditional model. Knowing that the Coupe version is sold for 4,000 euros more than the standard electric Cayenne, with prices starting at 111,000 euros, that's still an expensive extra kilometer. So it's not for the extra range that Porsche is betting on a Coupe version of its electric Cayenne. It's simply because the traditional gas-powered Cayenne sells much better as a coupe than in the regular version. 60% of the gas-powered Cayennes that were sold were coupe versions, and Porsche would simply like its next-generation electric Cayenne to benefit from the same trend. 111,000 euros for the base model, 133,000 euros for the S version, which is more powerful, and 170,000 for the turbo variant. And keep in mind that you can pay extra for options. A package that allows you to reduce the weight of the vehicle thanks to a carbon roof and specific 22-inch wheels, which will save you 17.6 kilos. It sounds good like that, except that even with this weight reduction package, the electric Cayenne Coupe still remains above
très largement des 2500 kilos.
To finish, in this case, I think it's really good news, and especially good news that concerns much more affordable models. Volkswagen has confirmed the arrival of new full hybrid powertrains on 2 of the most popular models from the Volkswagen brand. So here we're talking about full hybrid, which, to put it simply, is like Toyota's hybrid. That means it's a non-rechargeable hybrid where the electric part is still more present and more dominant than in a mild hybrid. This new engine, called Hybrid, will be positioned in the lineup between the ITSI engines, which are mild hybrids, and the e-hybrid range, which is the plug-in hybrid, and will first be available on the current generation Golf and T-Roc. That means it's probably going to be a more widespread engine in the coming months. It will be available to order on these models in France starting in the fall of 2026, and will arrive a little later on other models from the group that use the same platforms and the same base engines, especially at Skoda and Cupra. As for the really technical part, for now, Volkswagen has been quite discreet and hasn't given many details. What we do know, and that's actually good news, is that this system won't rely on a 3-cylinder gasoline engine, but rather on a turbocharged 1.5 TSI 4-cylinder engine operating on the Miller cycle. There will be 2 different power outputs available. The system will include a 1.6 kWh NMC battery, a starter generator, and an electric motor capable of directly driving the wheels without a multi-speed gearbox. As I was saying, we're talking about a full hybrid here, which means that at low speeds, the vehicle will be able to run entirely in 100% electric mode with the combustion engine completely switched off. At higher speeds, part of the energy generated by the combustion engine will be used to recharge the batteries. Knowing that from 60 km/h and above, the electric motor will give a little boost to the combustion engine to directly drive the vehicle's wheels, allowing for slightly faster, more dynamic acceleration. For now, the prices have not been announced. In any case, Volkswagen has no choice but to offer this type of powertrain because all the established brands like Toyota, Honda, Renault, and even Stellantis are offering or developing full hybrid powertrains, precisely to bridge the gap between plug-in hybrids and mild hybrids. So there you have it. We end with some good news. That's it for the news this Friday. I hope you found the video interesting. If that's the case, as usual, I'm counting on you to show it by leaving a like, subscribing, and maybe even supporting us by clicking the join button below this video. We'll see you again tomorrow, Saturday, April 25th, for the next automotive news update. Have a great start to your weekend, and thanks for watching. Bye.